Aloha, I am Tara Coyote, and I'm here with my darling friend Bethany Adair.
In person.
We're here in Kaua'i, Hawaii, and I've been so fortunate to have dear Bethany here with me for the week, my lovely Mermaid house property.
Incredible. She lives in absolute heaven. Heaven. It's incredible.
It's pretty incredible. I'm very blessed. It's been really a joy being with her. We have a long story together. Some of you might know her, some of you might know me. If you've read my book, Grace, Grit, and Gratitude, Bethany is in my book. She's had a powerful influence in me, which I will share about later. But I just want to introduce her. This is her book, My Guru Cancer, which she will share about too. So she is amazing. She's had a powerful cancer healing story, breast cancer. She was diagnosed about a year or so before me.
Yep.
And we met maybe about 8 years ago through social media and had this long ongoing story. Bethany does the work of Byron Katie, which really helped me with some hard decisions to do chemotherapy when I was in a difficult place. She's an amazing facilitator, both group classes and individual sessions. And she's just such a beautiful being, very inspiring, very fun, very playful, zany, and everything. And I just want to mention really quick, if you haven't noticed, we have matching mermaid shirts. It says choose love over fear. These are shirts I made.
And we didn't plan to wear them both during this podcast, so I thought it was funny that I came over and I'm like, oh, hey, we're wearing the same outfit. So
we're like twinsies. So let's just start out. You can hear more about my darling friend Bethany. Maybe can you share your story in a nutshell with our audience so they can know more about it from your mouth?
Yeah, so my breast cancer journey started in 2015. So you were diagnosed in 2016, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So a year before you. I'll hit 10 years this year, actually, since that initial diagnosis. And at that time, I was, feeling really healthy, have no family history of breast cancer, ate organic, I was teaching yoga. I just got certified in being a facilitator for the work of Byron Katie like 2 months before that diagnosis. So I can say, I'm sure similar to you, cancer was not on the radar for me in any way.
She was young too.
Yeah, I was 34, or I just turned 34 a few weeks before the diagnosis. So yeah, it was a stage 2. When it was caught, it was in my breast and had a little journey into my lymph nodes in the left armpit. And my goodness, what a shock, to get that news and to also not really, I feel sicker anyway. I don't know if you felt this way in the beginning, like I wouldn't have known, and thank goodness the body develops tumors and lumps, because that was, I found that myself and had it explored. And I was really lucky in that I have a great background in managing stress and working with the body and yoga therapy, and then working with the mind and the work of Byron Katie. And of course, I'm trained in all this stuff, but the second I was in that diagnostic phase of trying to figure out, are these lumps cancer? What's happening in my body? I decided to toss every single one of those lovely tools out the window, and I completely freaked out and spiraled, and just my mind was consumed with worst case scenarios of, I have cancer, my life is over, my dreams are canceled. I could not see anything good coming out of a cancer experience until I started questioning my thoughts about cancer, which we have a lot of experience in doing together. But like looking at those stories, those narratives of, can I really know it's true that my life would be over? How do I know it wouldn't be beginning in some way? Or, beauty can come from this journey, or what if it can lead to an even better life than I had pre-cancer? And so for me, the whole fighting cancer, going into war battle, I've never resonated with that language. And I always tell people, like, if they love that language, yay, more power to you, keep it. For me, it just didn't make sense. There's something growing in my body, and I don't want to see it as an enemy. Instead, I embrace it as a wise teacher. And that's where the name of the book and my handle came, is My Guru Cancer. I didn't plan for this teacher. I didn't manifest this teacher. I didn't really choose a teacher, but here it is. And so instead of fighting that, I'm going to welcome it into my life and learn from it and extract every ounce of beauty, lessons, gratitude, joy from this journey. So that was definitely, I had to work on it, but that was my mindset going into it. I am someone who was not into medicine, allopathic or Western medicine. Pre-cancer, I preferred nature, and so I was very much confronted with, oh my goodness, chemotherapy and surgery and radiation. And I use this mindset work to kind of look at treatment in a different way. And I know that's something that we've played with together as well. As the story out there is that it's poisonous, and there's other scary stories like it'll kill you, and and all this stuff. And I really challenge that, and instead see treatment as this healing cleanse that's here for me. It's here to help me live longer and be here, and seeing it as a healing modality versus something that's going to hurt my body in some way. And that's true for me. Also, it's why we're doing it. It's like why we're in treatment. It's to heal. It's not to ingest poison in some way. So that mindset really served me in about a 2-year pretty rockin' treatment plan. And that's when we connected and everything. And then I was pronounced physically cancer-free. And that wasn't easy either. It was really interesting that the mind still goes. The body was free of cancer, but my mind was still scared. It was also, my marriage at the time got really rocked and was looking at divorce. And it was really hard for a little bit in that time period. And so I had to kind of work through those emotions, those fears, that grief, and came to a place of, yes, the cancer could come back. I don't know. But how would I live my life differently if it did? And use that fear as more of a catalyst for truly living. And that's when I made some really awesome big changes. I left the marriage that was no longer healthy for me. I moved my life from Texas out to Colorado, started dating, and just giving myself this joyful, adventurous life. And that's where I met Tim as well. And we just got married last year. And I just created this incredible life in Colorado. I love it. By the way, I love Kaua'i and I love Colorado. I think we have nailed where we live. And my biggest heartbreak came a year after meeting Tim. Again, I just felt like I had found the life. I had published my book. I was coaching, teaching classes, supporting other cancer thrivers, and just working through the mental, emotional struggles, because that, to me, is the hardest part of this journey. And just felt like I had done all the things too. And it came back. I had chronic low back pain. That was kind of my signal to start advocating for scans, and I had to advocate really hard to get a scan. I mean, there was a point it was getting hard to walk. And for me, I didn't honestly think it was a cancer occurrence, but it was very much impeding on my adventurous Colorado life. It was having a hard time skiing and hiking and all this stuff that I was so enjoying. And so it was really the pain that was a great teacher of, okay, something's off here and I need to figure it out. And so when I finally got that scan, it was 2 hours later that the doctor called me. And he just said, "Bethany, are you sitting down?" And he said, "There are lesions all over your spine. It looks like the cancer's back, and call your oncologist right away." And nothing prepares you for that moment of just shock. I was frozen and then panic. and again, my mind, I just could not see how this could be good in any way. And it was I just found that beautiful life, and now it's what got 2 months, 2 years? Like, is it over already? Am I in a wheelchair next month? Is skiing over? Like, the mind went there. And then more scans showed it was in my liver and then some lymph nodes in my stomach too. And I was very big with my oncologist on, do not give me a timeline, a prognosis. Of course, my mind was doing it, but like, do not tell me that. And I really loved, like, they were very caring and holding my hand and just like, listen, metastatic breast cancer is changing. It is now becoming more like managing a chronic illness, and women are living many, many years. And I didn't ask, like, well, how many, but like many, many years. And this may not be curable, but it is treatable. And I really appreciated how they handled that news with me. It wasn't, a scare tactic or anything like that. It was, very loving. And then you were one of my first phone calls. I didn't know a lot of people living with metastatic breast cancer, and like you and then Willow Star, a friend that I'm sure a lot of people watching know as well. To have an example of someone who's not just living with, the condition, but really living a beautiful life with it, that just meant so much to know of your existence. And then you answered right away. And I mean, I remember sobbing on the phone with you and just, I don't even know what was said. I just felt really held and validated and listened to and encouraged. And it's like, no one wants this news, and, but there's a lot of like beauty in that connection through shared grief of like life drastically changed for us. And, we weren't really in charge of that. Like, that was something out of our control. And here it is, like, you make all these beautiful plans and life does what it does. And so now we're, 4 years later since that diagnosis. And my health is, it was like great. And then here and then there. It's been sort of all over the place. And last year was a tough year. Like, I had the most beautiful moments of my life and some of the hardest moments in my life. We had the wedding, which you came to. It was like our first time meeting in person. So we've been supporting each other, 6, 7 years online, over the phone.
7, maybe close to 8.
And then you and Brittany Beadle came to the wedding, and the day before the wedding, you guys were in the Airbnb, and I was like, it's obviously chaos planning a wedding in general, but I was like, I just want a special moment with the two of you, and I broke down in tears immediately when I saw you in person. It was like, that hug was fucking awesome.
It was a special moment, for sure.
It was so special. And a few months before the wedding, it was the first time since the cancer had gone stage 4 that I had progression. And so it had been stable and, manageable. And then all of a sudden, right before one of my, most cherished days, it decided to throw a party again and have progression. I had biopsies and all kinds of stuff. And I was, the low back had healed, but then my hip started really acting up from the bone mets and was limping and having a hard time walking. So I'm going into this magical day like, will I have hair for this next treatment? Will I be able to walk down the aisle for my wedding? Will I be able to dance and like really enjoy, or will it even feel like a wedding? Was a concern of mine, or is this going to feel kind of like the big goodbye, to all the people I love? And that was really hard. But what ended up happening was one of the most beautiful, incredible days, and we danced and I walked down the aisle, did all the things, and got to keep my hair too with the treatment plan. And then things got stable and nice again, and then cancer took another, had a huge party over Thanksgiving last year, and so that was 8 months ago from now, but I was dropping weight. I was starting to look a little skeleton-y and in so much pain in my hips. Now I had both hips. Now it was very confusing pain, and I needed really strong pain meds for the first time in my life. And PT and like, not PT for the first time. I've used PT many times, but it was the first time in Thanksgiving, I was with my family in Florida. I had gotten that progression news right before in my scans. I also needed like an emergency surgery for my ureter. It was blocked by cancer and not flowing, so I was like at risk for kidney failure. And there was a spot in my lung showed up for the first time too. So I was a disaster, like a mess over Thanksgiving, and it was really the first time in my journey where it really felt it in my body of like, this might be my last Thanksgiving.
Right.
And like, we have a tradition in our family. We're not actually always together for Thanksgiving. My family's half is in Florida and half in Colorado, but we were for this one. And like, growing up, we had this tradition of going around the table and saying what we're grateful for. And I just remember when it got to me, I couldn't, words couldn't come out. I had a lot to say, but there was a lot of pain with it too. So it's like, I'm just so grateful to be here. And I was grieving, the possibility that I might not be here much longer. And so holding space for both is, I know, a big practice for both of us. And it was just wild to reflect on that moment because, my goodness, I got on a new treatment, and I just had a miracle response to it. And, I thought at that point, okay, we're looking at a wheelchair next year. Skiing, I just love. I love so much. And I'm like, that's not on the table anymore. And we're just kind of ruling out things. And I started that treatment at the beginning of December. And it's called Enhertu.
Okay.
So I've always been told I'm HER2 negative in my type of breast cancer, but there's been new research for MBC in the past few years where there are some people that are kind of this middle ground of HER2 status. And it's your pathology report will reveal it. Like for the HER2 status, there's something called an IHC score. And so if it's a +2, it means you're HER2 positive. But if you have the number of a +1 or a 0, you fall into this category of being HER2 low or HER2 ultra low.
Oh, interesting.
And the cool part about that is it actually opens you up to the HER2 lines of treatment. So it adds, a whole new line of treatment options that weren't available before. So Enhertu is one of them. And so I wouldn't have had access to this treatment 5 years ago. That wasn't in the research. And so I just find it, I get very excited about advancements in care. And my goodness, I had one treatment. It's an infusion every 3 weeks. It's a targeted chemo. After one treatment, I was out of pain and I got off pain meds. And then Christmas Day, Tim and I went skiing.
That's amazing. Such a recovery.
It was insane. We're on the mountaintop. I cannot believe we're here right now. And then my body's only gotten stronger since then. I've had 2 rounds of scans and it's just everything's shrinking and disappearing.
Your blood tests are improving.
Blood tests, my tumor markers are back in the normal range. I have I love looking at my tumor marker graph because it was like this trending party up and then a free fall. They dropped after starting Enhertu.
That's amazing.
And I feel good. I feel strong and
yeah, she mermaided yesterday with the
God,
mermaid tail.
I was like, can we talk about that?
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
That was so cool. So a big motto of mine, I know people know, but I like to rename things. I am very cheesy about it. I think I rename everything in cancer just to make it more fun. But I did rename our diagnosis, Live the Fuck Out of Life. And I'm like, that is our diagnosis. It's our mission, mantra, also our medicine. And I think you and I are very much aligned in just making sure that we're really doing things that bring us joy and happiness and love and peace, and not as an added bonus in life, but as medicine, as part of our treatment plan is, yes, get out on the beach. And, for you, mermaiding now I know is huge medicine, and taking care of the horses and the ranch and traveling. And so all of that is, just spending time with people I love and exploring new places and traveling when I can is a huge part of it.
So living life fully is such a part of your medicine.
Yeah, and I love adventures, of course, but I also like to clarify that it is this. It's like this moment right now of embracing what is happening in front of us and really being here. We are here physically, but it takes a little work to be here mentally as well, because our mind just goes to other places. And when you're living with cancer, it gets futured very often, and it goes into what could happen, what if, or that heartbreaking thing happened to a friend, what if that happens to me, and our minds leave the present moment. And so when we can fully embrace what's in front of us, and that can be just like, we're together in Kaua'i right now, like this is blowing my mind, but I can also be on a couch, like watching a show or looking out the window and seeing a tree in the wind. There are a lot of moments that I think are live the fuck out of life moments that are really simple too.
Yeah, so you can basically take any moment and live it fully, whether you're skiing down a mountain or reading a book.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that. It's such a beautiful, inspiring story of recovery and just having the faith and continuing forward and mining the richness out of the experience. And I would never have guessed when we first started connecting, however long it was, 7 or 8 years ago, we'd be sitting on this sofa here in Hawaii. Life has got its twists and turns.
I often look back at moments and I'm like, if I had a crystal ball to see the future, it just would have made those tough moments so much more palatable, to be like, yes, this is hard, and guess what? And next year you're going to be here, or, in 4 years you'll actually connect with like a cancer bestie, or, it would be so neat if we had that little glimpse of the future.
And with that note, I want to mention something that's really huge. Just those of you listening can't see this, but if you're watching this, and I will explain it too, Bethany was in Newsweek.
Hi, that's me.
Can you believe this? Newsweek. Bethany's story is in Newsweek. So if you're listening to the podcast, I'm holding up a paper, the piece that was in it. And can you say in brief what they shared about in the article?
Yeah, it was...
Because I think it's really incredible you're in Newsweek.
And
you're
it's
inspiring
also,
people all over the world.
It is a testament to get your story out there, because there was actually a reporter from Newsweek saw one of my reels on Instagram and reached out to me. And it was a reel that was about, it was a trend that went around of, she didn't know it yet, but, and you tell, share footage of something and then, share something hard that was about to happen. And so I shared a video of, I'm sitting here celebrating my, what I thought was 5-year cancer-free anniversary. And I'm like holding my book, and Tim was like doing a little photo shoot for me. So I think he accidentally took a video instead of photo. So that was like the shot of me getting ready for this, 5-year cancer-free book baby photo. And what was really happening was I was about a month after that, I found out the cancer had come back, stage 4. So it was already there, obviously. But
right.
So she reached out to me, and yeah, we did an interview, and she did such a great job. She actually wrote the article in first person, so it wasn't my voice writing, but she took it from our interview. And I just thought she did such a good job of capturing my whole cancer story. I'm obviously not very good at keeping it short and tidy. I could talk for hours, in case you can't tell from this podcast. But she did just a great job of capturing from day one. And then my mindset, mindset's just the biggest focus for me. The physical part of cancer is hard, but I think the mind, taking care of the sweet mind and emotions, when we do that, this journey becomes a lot more manageable. And so it was really fun, to see that come out. And I don't know, I also feel shy about it for some reason. I'm like, ooh, what?
There's
did that happen?
Really? About that when you're like, really? Me?
I know, I'm like very public, and then that happened, and I still feel like like uncomfortable in some way. And it reminds me of Tim. The reason we met on a dating profile or dating app. The reason I hearted his profile and we connected was because he said his greatest talent is bathing in awkwardness. And I just started laughing, and I'm like, okay, now I have to meet this guy. But anyways, it reminds me of that. When it came out, I was like, okay, I'm going to bathe in the awkwardness that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Because it's just crazy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes to show, and I love it too. She makes very creative reels on Instagram too. If you're not following her, check her out. Facebook too.
And
yeah, she's very very creative and funny and zany, and
yeah,
so
like
I'm not surprised that became on the radar of Newsweek.
I'm that weird girl like twerking on scan days on like the scan table, like dancing, and I don't know. It's happening. Like this journey's happening. We're in treatment. We're doing scans every few months. It's a lot, and I always find that like when I can move through the grief, there's acceptance. Like this is happening, and then how can I make it fun? Like how can I make it more enjoyable? Because either way, I'm doing it. So I'm either doing it in like suffering and anger or resentment, which I've tried that way. It's just not as fun.
Might as well enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
She inspired me last time I took a scan to wear a unicorn outfit and dance around. So
I am waiting for the mermaid scan. Like I know it would
I
take
am
a while to
thinking about
get
that.
in your tail in the scan room, but like
it's on my list.
just a full like laying on the skin with a tail just draped out. It's happening. It's gonna happen. That would be so cool.
It'll happen. I just want to mention that too. It's in the vein of following whatever speaks to you, following your heart. And we won't go into this because this is my story, but I've been really getting into mermaiding, actually wearing a mermaid tail and swimming in the ocean, swimming with whales and sharks. I have a whole Kaua'i mermaid page you could check out on Instagram and Facebook. But I was recently written about in the Kaua'i magazine. There's a 12-page spread about me and a very extensive, deep article. And so I also feel that bathing in awkwardness. But this is just really, whether you're journeying with cancer or not, really encouraging all of you to follow your heart. And even if you do have a serious diagnosis, you can still live your joy. Yeah. And, our dear friend Bethany does that so well too. And Willow Star and others. Like it can really be a call to life and living fully. In a funny way, it's kind of a gift because you realize, wow, I could be gone in a year or two, and I'm not guaranteed a long life, so might as well do it now. So that's been a gift for me.
Everything we get to do, which I very much live. I think we both do in a state of I get to, instead of like, oh my God, I get to wake up, I get to go to the bathroom. Like that's actually there was a time that was tough for me. So it's like everything becomes extra precious. So I feel like it fuses those moments with even more appreciation.
Yes.
And I'd say, I don't know if you agree, but I'm a happier person in post-cancer, life. Like I really am. I wish I knew, like, could learn all those things earlier. Didn't need cancer to like wake me up to such a beautiful life that was already happening. But that is a big thing I'm grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing. I look back because I've had many friends die young from cancer too, and family members. It's been very hard. Yeah. And I look back to before that first death of like, wow, I didn't really appreciate life. I was complaining about things that didn't really matter. Yeah. Like I have really actually had it quite good. So yeah, I'm definitely much happier now. So thank you, cancer.
Yeah. And it's like, and I love finding all the gifts and the gratitude and the blessings. And I also am really clear with the universe. I'm like, cancer, you can physically go away now. Like, bye. Like, I will keep all the lessons and the beauty, but you're not welcome in this vehicle.
We've learned the lessons
anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, very clear.
Absolutely. I just want to share too, because I want to make sure it's in there, the impact that Bethany had on me too, because it was so powerful. It was huge. Like she's literally one of the reasons why I'm sitting here today talking to all of you is because of this beautiful soul. And I'll probably start crying, and it's a full moon, so I'm a little extra emotional. So this is very real. So I share about this in my book, Grace, Grit, and Gratitude, like I was saying, where I was diagnosed in September 2016, and I was terrified of doing standard treatment because my best friend had died 1 year before from leukemia. That's a whole nother story, but I had so much trauma wrapped around all the time with her at the hospital I did natural for years. There's a lot involved in that story. The cancer progressed. I'd moved back home to Kaua'i, Hawaii, and I was literally dying. Like, I had cancer all over my body. I was walking with a cane because my left hip was breaking. I had so much cancer in my lungs. I could not hold a conversation. I had to sit up to sleep. Like, the list goes on and on. I was in pain. I was losing weight. I knew I was dying. And basically, the doctors here in Kaua'i were very gentle, and they said, hey, Tara, we know you don't want to do chemo, but it just might save your life. And if you don't do it, you have about 6 months. And I could see it. I mean,
and they referred you to hospice and said,
And they referred me to hospice. Yeah. And I knew everything. Bethany and I obviously knew each other, and I knew everything she'd been through. And I'd already done the work of Byron Katie with her, with the wonderful classes she teaches, and she's an amazing facilitator. Check her out. Read her book. And I worked with her doing private sessions because I was terrified to do chemo. I was terrified to go in the hospital. I would have flashbacks of stuff with Deb that was just terrorizing. And I did the work with Bethany over several sessions of just facing my fear of chemo, because I had this story that chemo will kill me. And just to add, I was also like broadcasting, being interviewed and sharing that chemo kills before, so I had to really become humble. And she helped me turn around my thoughts, be like, wow, chemo can be a healing nectar that can heal me. So by the time I actually sat in that chair, which took so much courage, I could work with my brain. She gave me a meditation to listen to. And it wasn't easy, but it did heal me. I almost died a few times. I mean, I broke my left hip. I had to have double hip surgery.
Double hip replacement too, in the middle of a very aggressive chemo regimen.
Yeah, it was insane. But like, Bethany helped me shift my thoughts, because if I had not, I would have been fearful, and that medicine would have not worked the same way. So I just want to share this woman's amazing impact, because you literally freaking helped save my life. So thank you. I love you so much.
I mean, it circled right back to me too. Like, I had no idea that the work we were doing together was preparing me for this stage 4 journey. You know, at that time, I think I was in remission when we started doing those private sessions, and
You were.
Man, did I think it was over. You know, cancer was just in my past. It's just wild how life works, because I mean, you were the first person that popped up into my mind when I did hear that diagnosis. And so many times in my journey, when it's gotten scary for me, I'm like, Tara had it you had of anyone I know on earth, the most incredible turnaround in your healing, where it just, like, I keep your story in my heart and mind. I share it with everyone as well, because it's like, healing is possible. You know, that is on the menu in the future of possibilities, because our minds don't go there right away. And so I, like, often in my really heartbreaking moments, like Thanksgiving last year, and I'm like, okay, like, this is not going the way I want, but like, Tara's, you know, cancer got even crazier, and look at her now. She is, you know, no evidence of disease for years, and mermaiding and doing all the things she loves. And I'm like, I just hold that in my mind. And then to have a similar, you know, experience of a quick turnaround in my health, like, just as quickly as it went downhill, it then went back, and hopefully it stays this way. That's like my like, okay, universe, now stay. Stay like this. It's quite incredible to see it somewhere, and then to have that in your own body as just proof. Like, the mind needs proof of healing, at least mine does. So it's not just wishful thinking to see real people, like, okay, like, it got scary, and then it moved into a really great healing place. So I joke, it's like we have really good healing comeback stories.
Yeah. Well, it's so important to reference that, because so much, like, there's that ideology of stage 4 cancer equals death, and like, no, it doesn't have to be. And if somebody can switch their thoughts around, they can access that field of healing. And like what Joe Dispenza talks about, and Bruce Lipton, like, it can be a different story. So shifting your thoughts is so important, which is why your work is so important, because you explore those fearful questions and really can turn them around. So.
Yeah, and like medicine in general, like it's come a long way where it was really barbaric, cancer treatment. Not to say it isn't still in many ways, but I feel like the focus of treating the whole person and, things like nutrition and mindset and emotional health or acupuncture, like these things are, I have an integrative wing in my cancer center offering those things. And so to see things move medically in a more integrative approach and, taking quality of life as a primary focus, like those are conversations I have with my doctors. I'm like, listen, I obviously want quantity and quality, but like, I want a good life. Like, I don't want to be just barely getting by every day. And so I'm feeling a nice shift in medicine where it needs room for improvement as well. But like, I like the direction that it's going, and research in general, especially for our particular cancer. My goodness, are there advancements now? Like every month almost, there's either a new treatment or promising clinical trial or a new class of drugs. It's pretty exciting to see how quickly. And I'm like, keep going. I feel like we're gonna see a cure in this lifetime, and I don't need a cure, to be happy. I want to live that happy, live the fuck out of life now, whether cancer goes or stays. But I'm also, I'm here for the cure too. Yeah. That'd be nice.
Me too. Yeah. What would you say to somebody who's newly diagnosed? Like when somebody is newly diagnosed, it's so terrifying, any stage, because it's the first time mortality usually hits somebody, and it's so overwhelming.
Yeah, I would honor that. Like that beginning part is one of the hardest times, in my opinion, because it's such a shock. And I always, want to emphasize that it's not your fault that this happened. Cancer happens. It happens to healthy bodies, young bodies, old bodies, like from all walks of the earth. And so I know there was a lot of self-blame and shame that came up for me both times, actually multiple times in my cancer journey, but that it's not your fault. And I know like your mind is full of all kinds of scary movies of the future of how this will go. That's part of the process too. And to let them know that is not my reality, like yes, those thoughts can be really scary, but the reality of it can actually be really beautiful. And that there's tough parts of this journey, but there's also a lot of beauty and love in it too. And if you keep your mind open to those things, you'll see them and you'll feel them. And I don't want to throw cancer's a gift right away in someone's face at their early diagnosis, but I can say it has become a gift. And I'm here for you. Or find your people, your community, your support system, because I would not be where I am today without knowing people living this journey too, because you don't understand what it's like unless you're in it. People can try, but they just don't. Like I have people, my husband, for example, like we both acknowledge we're in this together and we can't fully understand what that other person, like I can't fully understand this experience for him too, having the love of his life deal with this diagnosis and the unknowns and vice versa. So connecting with people that are in it, and social media was not a huge thing in our first, like when we were first diagnosed, and it's just massive now. So it's easy to go out there and see people living life and learning things. And it might be fun to rename your diagnosis too. You're welcome to use Live the Fuck Out of Life.
I didn't realize that you actually renamed it that.
Oh yeah. I'm like,
that.
I've been diagnosed with Live the Fuck Out of Life. That's what's happening.
That's clever.
Yeah, like look at it in a different way. And challenge the mind and challenge those stories, like I can't tell you how many times my mind was like, actually, I had a doctor even say it to me, an ex-oncologist last year, was like, it only gets worse from here. It was something she said, and it broke my heart to hear that in the moment.
Fire that oncologist.
I did. She is done. And like, I had to entertain the opposite. It only gets better from here. I had to open my mind to those healing possibilities. And whether they happen or not, who knows? But like, we don't know the future, and we can either live in terror of it now, or we can live in hope and love. Either way, we're getting from point A to B in some way. So it's like, yeah. And there's not one single body that's like getting out of life alive. Like, this body will not last forever. I hope it's just when we're super old and wrinkly and laughing about that time we got cancer way back when. That is the hope and vision that I hold for myself. But no matter what, whenever that is that time to transition out of the body, and I personally think some spirit, soul, whatever, there is something that lives on and the body goes. But I would like to, in that moment, no matter when that is, look back and be like, I lived that life. I loved life. I did that life thing pretty well. And now I'm ready for the next adventure.
Right. You sure do. And I feel called to share what our shirts say, choose love over fear, because I think it ties in so beautifully, the whole choosing life, whereas choosing fear. Love is this expansive force that brings joy and positivity. And I'm not talking about spiritual bypassing. I'm like encouraging to look at what's underneath the surface and get out your anger or frustration, and then go to that love place rather than fear, which is contracted and small. So this is my reminder.
I love the reminder.
So I just want to mention that, because
and
she
it
just
also
said
like that. I mean, fear happens. Like, I know we talk about all the time. Fear happens, grief, sadness, like all those emotions are a natural part. And I think both of us do a really good job of letting ourselves feel it. We move it. We work through it in a lot of different ways. And we have a really strong intention just not to live in a state of fear.
Yes.
And that's different. Like, the chronic fear, I think, is where, gets in trouble. And it's also just not fun. Like, it's not a fun way to live. I think I have a low tolerance for suffering now, where suffering is very motivating. It's like I get there and I'm like, all right, let's go. What do we need to do? Do we need to move the body? Do I need to question my thoughts, meditate, get out in nature? Do I need to vent it out with someone or a therapist? And there are lots of ways to move that. But I always want people to know it's really natural to feel those things. I get a lot of comments on social media. It's like, how are you so positive all the time? And I'm like, who says I'm positive all the time?
I think we share it all.
Yeah. And
you're very real.
Nobody's positive all the time. Like, that's so unrealistic. And I think a way that I can get into that space or access it more quickly is because, we allow ourselves to feel those emotions and feelings. So I think, honoring the feelings is how to be in a more positive mindset and happy.
Well said. Yes, emotions are here to teach us and be temporary.
Yeah.
Move it through. Is there any last parting words you'd like to share?
Well,
come to mind?
I'm going to say, like, yesterday. Can I talk about yesterday?
Please, go for it.
So,
I want to hear you talk
on
about
this amazing vacation, my family, my older brother and nieces are here too. So I've been like dancing with Tara. We've been all together. We did the Nepali coast boat and snorkeling tour, which was, mind-blowing to see that coast. It was incredible. And the other super incredible special experience we had together that I knew I had to do is I booked a mermaiding session with Tara, a private mermaid. So literally one of my childhood fantasies is being a mermaid. I watched Little Mermaid growing up. My best friend growing up, she was actually a bridesmaid in my wedding too. We were like 6 or 7 years old, and we would try to reenact this scene of Little Mermaid where she like comes up on a rock and she's singing the song Part of Your World, and she pushes up on the rock and it's like splashing water, and we would reenact it in the pool. Like, one of us would come up on the ledge and the other would like splash water in the air and we'd try to sing the song. Anyways, I have had a mermaid fantasy for a long time, and that came true yesterday with Tara. And I have this gorgeous tail, and I have jewelry and a little, what's the top called? The bikini top? I thought it was seashells.
Dragon scale,
a little bikini top. And we did like a photo session on the beach, and then got in the water. And I have to tell you, like, it was so freaking fun. It also felt really natural.
Yeah.
Like
You're natural.
it was real. Oh, it was just, it was so cool. We're doing like little twirls and flips and splashes, and that was so special, period, but extremely special to do with you. And Tara's a very good teacher. By the way, we're doing like these meditative breaths, you know, before and after, going under and the water, and it was such a cool experience. So I had to get that story in the podcast too.
I so appreciate it.
Tara transformed me into a mermaid and made one of my dreams come true.
It's my secret mission to turn all my friends into mermaids.
Like NBC Mermaid Retreat coming up, maybe. Like I'm in for that. That was truly incredible. And just so special to be with you and have, like, I know we talked about it the other day, but just how natural it feels being together, and then just marveling on what we've both been through, you know, privately and together, or not privately, but separate journeys, and then together. It's just it's magical to be here with you and look back and be like, wow, we've done that. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
So incredible. You're a natural mermaid, and it's been such a joy to be with you.
I don't have my mermaid hair anymore, but yeah, I have the rest.
There's always wigs you can wear if you want.
True.
A lot of mermaids actually do that.
Next time.
Aw, thank you. How can people find you on social media?
So the name of my book is My Guru Cancer. It's also the name of my handle. Right now I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and I'm most active on Instagram. I think I like that platform the most. And then, website is mygurucancer.com, and that has all of my classes and coaching and events and things like that. I love connecting with fellow cancer thrivers. It's like one of my favorite parts of this journey, or the people in it are pretty awesome, I would say.
It's been really beautiful to see you stepping into it, to really be a voice in the community. Like she did a talk recently in front of 1,500 people?
1,600 people.
1,600 people, which, it would make me want to hide.
You guys, I'm not kidding. I was such an introverted person before cancer, and for some reason there's like stuff that just had to explode out of me from this journey. I still always get nervous before speaking in front of people, no matter what, but it's amazing. Like, it's an experience too, because a lot of the talks I'm giving now are to people who are making the medicine that's saving my life, and so phenomenal. It is like an emotional experience to be like, I am here because of you. And thank you. And I also want to share, you know, the realities of what it's like to live with this condition, because it's not easy, and you know, we do need support and deal with a lot. And so it's been fun to move into more of a patient advocacy role, and I'll see where that goes. Like, it's a new space for me, but I'm really, really loving it.
I love that. Well, sometimes it can be separate, and it's like they don't really understand who they're making it for. I mean, I'm guessing. Yeah. So for you to put a face and personality to it and show your gratitude, that would motivate them even more.
I'm like,
keep
going.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, everybody check out her book, My Guru Cancer. It says Bethany Webb, but her real name now is Bethany Adair.
I got married.
It's also an audiobook, and if you haven't noticed, she's hilarious, and her book is hilarious too. You'll be laughing throughout it. She's very real, and check out everything she does. She's wonderful. So thank you so much for taking time. This is a joy. I hope you all listening have gotten a lot out of it, and just keep living life fully. And I love you so much, Bethany.
Thank you for having me. Of course.
Mahalo. Aloha.
Wait, don't we say mahalo? Was that the goodbye?
Well, yeah.
Oh, wait, that's thank you.
Well, aloha is love, but
okay.
This is going to be the blooper part.
It was the only part. I thought it would just crush the rest of it. All right.
Aloha and mahalo.